So we had been working with Amazon. Amazon had been, they obviously a lot of stuff in the home, Alexa. They were just coming out with screens with Alexa. We were a large-ish camera company at the time. Like we weren't that big, but in the sort of new age camera field, we were, decent size. And so they came to us to integrate with the Alexa with the screen. And so we had been working with them for a few years and forging a relationship where it was really a relationship of like learning each other's culture and trust. And so it was a great run of doing that. And that's what led to then, in the end, like that's where they said, like, let's put this together.
Okay, so they say let's put it together. What does that actually like mean? Like what?
So actually, I'll give you like the funny thing. So we're at lunch with the corp dev person, and who's like a good friend, Nick Camoros, a great friend still today. And we're there, and he says, I think it's time we come together. And it's one of those like, I don't want to like jump across the table and be like, yes, I'll sell, because then he's gonna be like, no, come together on this next project. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, do you mean? And so it was like one of those like Zoolander moments, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, back and forth. And so finally he's like, yeah, to buy you. And I'm like, yes, okay, let's do it.
I'm so tired. I've been wondering when you're going to ask.
I told my investors, I told Amazon, I was either going to go public or sell to Amazon. Those are my two options. And it was because the only company that I felt would really take the mission, take it like and allow us to keep executing on it and stay true to it was Amazon, or staying independent and go public. I did not know of another company that would buy us and truly honor what we were trying to do. And I wasn't actually done. That's the funny thing. I was not like tired of doing it. I was so on the mission. I wanted to accelerate that as much as I could.
Okay, but my question then is like, if you weren't done, you just got over that very challenging period. I spoke to Randy at DFJ. I told you I stalked you before the show.
Yep.
And he said specifically asked why that time you decided was the right time. Because you could have done another year, 2x the company, whatever, growing the company and sold for more. Why then?
So here you're a missionary person. You have this thing that you believe in and you love, and you almost lost it 45 days before this. Like literally, I mean, like truly almost lost it. Like, I mean, like where it would have been, it would have been sold, but like a fire sale sold, like not like no. And so I did like the canary in the coal mine, and the canary died. And so I said to my, I'm like, going to Amazon is going to allow us to now like really execute on this vision we have and achieve what we know we can achieve. And we're not going to die in the process. Like, it was, like, can you imagine how emotional that time was? I mean, where I literally looked at like myself, like if things hadn't worked out the other way, like, I don't know if I would have, like, I might've had to move personally move. Like, I don't know if I could have afforded the house I was in, which was not a fancy house. Like I had everything was in ring.
What do you say to yourself when you're staring into the abyss? When you have that moment when you could lose the most important thing, other than your wife, obviously. Obviously, important addendum there. The most important thing. What do you say to yourself?
So, what I said was like, basically, again, this is where I get very common checklist, which is like, what do I need to do to get through this? And I sort of take all the stress of it. Like, it's funny, it comes back afterwards. Like, you don't get to get rid of it, but I sort of push it all to the side. And it's like, I only have one, there's only one road to live, and I got to go down that road, and it's risky, but I'm going to do it because like, if you flail, you're dead. I mean, so I just got super focused. And then afterwards, I mean, the stress was, I mean, it was like one of those just emotional, I mean, like insane. Like, I mean, it was like, I might still be dealing with the PTSD today. Seriously. Like,
I love it. How did you celebrate the deal? Dave said I had to ask this one. So Amazon happens, this Zoolander moment happens, and it's like done. How did you celebrate?
There's been some celebration. I mean, I bought a mountain bike. That was great. I might have bought a couple other things, but I really celebrated.
Can I ask a stupid question? Does money just like come into your account one day, like boom? Or is it like over time?
It's actually the weirdest thing. So you end up like announcing the sale and everyone thinks you have the money that day.
Yeah.
But then the government has to like look over the deal. And then the government says, okay, you can buy it. And then there's like, you have to still do this whole thing. So like you actually don't know when this is going to like literally like refreshing the thing. So so a friend of mine asked me to speak at like Task Us, which is a public company now, asked me to speak at his conference. And I said it like months earlier that I would do it. So it just happens that I'm literally there and the money's supposed to come in and I'm like literally like sitting there like like I'm like speaking and I like just hit like a refresh and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, and everyone's like, what? I'm like, sorry guys. I'm like, the actual closing just happened. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Did you tell them that?
Oh yeah. And I said like, this is the first time I've ever had money in my life. So I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just going to take a moment here to just, like I said, you just got to bear with me. Like I've never had money in my life and this is unbelievable. And I'm just going to like, give me like 1 second and I will get back to like our previously scheduled programming.
I love that. Can I, how did you feel? Like you said that was the first time you'd ever had money in your life. How did you feel?
It was just like it's gonna be all right. Like I think I never felt like things would be all right. There's a lot of different entrepreneurs and a lot of different types of entrepreneurs. Like there's some that are so confident that I think they actually don't care. Like they're like, oh, I'll just make it no matter what. I'm not that guy. Like I live in fear, and so I always.
What are you in fear of? In fear of losing everything? In fear of
I think
losing
so.
the
Yeah,
house?
in fear of just I think part of why I like maybe that's, you know what, that's what I'm running from. There you go. You got it. Like you keep digging, you'll find it out. Like it's I'm so in fear of everything that I overcompensate on the other side. So like if I'm going to build a brand, I'm so in fear of not being the best brand that I do every single thing I can do to make that brand. Like I do like I over like my emails on every box. Like I do every single, like I just throw like everything at it. And I think it's the fear that drives me for that, which is a funny thing because you think it's like confidence. Like you think like, oh, he's built this great company. Like he must be so confident. And it's like, I'm just like, I wake up every day like in sweats, like sweating. Like
It seems weird, honestly, Jamie, because we're told about the fearless leader. We're told about the courage which comes from lack of fear, which is like the at-bats, the experimentation. And the fear can create paralysis. Did it ever create actually a lack of progression because you were scared?
And I think so. Maybe that's my superpower is that I turn the fear into like it's the furnace that powers me, so it drives me. Like I'm not crippled by fear. I over execute because of fear. So I think I use it to do that. It's really funny. Actually, I had a conversation with a very famous quarterback. I won't say his name just because I don't know if he'll want it out there or whatever. And I gave him this whole thing about fear, and I said, "Do you have any of that?" And he said, "Nope. I'm the best. I'm the best there is, and I know that." And I was like, and he literally is the best quarterback of all time. And I said, wow, okay. I said, so like, see, two people can be successful, do it differently. You're more successful, so maybe I should have been the person who didn't have fear.
I do want to touch on like the acquisition post deal. It's gone so well, which bluntly is very rare. Like, I think we forget that. Like I think more than 50% of acquisitions don't really go well post acquisition. This has been a tremendous success. We break it down into what you did and what Amazon did. What did you do post acquisition to make the Ring acquisition deal a real success for both?
So I think the one thing I'll say, and like again, there's probably 1,000 things that made it successful. I was all in on being successful at Amazon. And the day that we closed, I was like, I'm an Amazonian. Now I run Ring and I care about what Ring is, but I'm an Amazonian. I'm all in on Amazon. We're going to do this together. And I realized that nothing's a 10 out of 10, that no company's perfect, but like I'm in, we're doing this. And that I think oozed and sort of marinated into my team, which marinated like, and so everybody was like, we're on this together. This is great. Like, and Amazon on the other side, they leaned in and said like we want to be part of Ring. And so like it really, and culturally we were so aligned. Like the things that we cared about culturally are like the leadership principles at Amazon. I wish I was elegant enough to have written them myself at Ring. Like they are exactly what I believe a company should do, exactly how a company should run. Like what Jeff set out to do is like, he really is what I, would love to aspire to be in terms of that leader and that leadership style.
It's one thing that you say I'm an Amazonian post-deal, I'm an Amazonian. It's another thing to get everyone you work with in your team to. A lot of people often harbor a little bit of resentment. They loved what it was before. Yeah. How do you bring everyone with you in your excitement post-acquisition?
I think, again, it goes to authenticity, right? Like leaders, I can't tell people to like, I'm not going to have this is the problem. You have a meeting and you're like, okay, you're all Amazonians now. And this is what I expect from you. I did it because they saw in my heart that I was excited. They saw how and it's not one day. The leadership principle at Amazon is earns trust. And I love that one because it's not, you don't get to just tell them the next day it's good and everyone says it's good. It took a while, but they saw that every day I came in and I had that same passion, that same energy. And so and that just it just oozed out and like everyone saw it and everyone could feel it. And then that's the culture.
I really hope we'll be friends, Jamie, because I need your advice. You said earn trust. I don't hire people, and my one criticism from my investors is you don't hire people and you just kind of you're the dependency. It's because I don't trust people. You meet me, do you trust me? You don't know me. Like, to hire me in a position of great responsibility. And so how do you build trust and accelerate trust building processes when you're hiring?
One of the important things for me is that no matter how many people have done things for me to lose trust, I've never lost believing in people. And so I'm always willing to take another risk because you have to earn trust, you have to take risk. And so I'm always willing to take a risk on someone and then let them either earn trust or if they don't, then deal with that. And so I think it's a little bit like just like taking, just literally it is like, team is taking risk. Everything is team. So like the leverage you get in life is from team. And so, I think it's just, you have to take the leap, and then if someone burns the trust, get them out. But I think the one thing I'd say is, and I think this is where people go wrong, is they learn from that. Like someone burns them and they learn from it. And I'd rather keep getting hurt and find a few great people than never be with great people. And I think those are the choices we have. I don't think we have a third choice there.
I think it's conflict avoidance. It's easier to learn from than to try multiple people. It's like this melee of 6 out of 10 versus having the 9 out of 10 and the 3 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally agree. We mentioned what you did well there. What did Amazon do well to make you and the integration go so well?
I mean, like the first email I got the day it closed, came from Jeff and said, like, don't let us, mess it up. You are in control. And so I think they were, obviously it's a public company. We have a responsibility to them, but they were very respectful of us. And I think it's what, if you look, Amazon's done a lot of acquisitions that have been successful, maybe more than anyone. And I think the one thing I would say is that they respect the companies they buy. And that in itself is like, it's an amazing thing when you have that respect.
What does it mean they were... Sorry, I'm really naive here.
No.
Do they like put in Amazon execs and say like, here's your CFO and here's, how does it work?
And over time, now it's been 5 years. Like we have done a lot of integration just naturally, which it'd be like stupid. Imagine like you go to the best university and you don't use any of the instructors, it's like, or the library. It's like, so, but they let me do it they let me lead that. Like they let the team, like my team lead that. They respected that. And so it allowed it to happen naturally versus, like you said, like, here's the, here's the playbook and here's this. Now, the one thing, and again, this is where it made it easy, is like the culture. It's like, here's kind of our culture at Amazon. It's like, wow, that's our culture at Ring. So we don't need to relearn that. It's kind of like, we are who you are.
Can I ask, what do you think they gave you that you didn't have?
Like when you grow that fast, like you don't have the right processes in HR. These are things that you need to spread out over like very large organizations. And so all of a sudden, like you go to this place and you're like, wow, like it's, I said in some ways it was like when your parents give you the credit card when you go to college and you get to like just go in and buy stuff. It's like, in some ways, like Amazon gave me a credit card, said, here, go in the store and you get to choose what you want to use. Like you want more CFOing, like here, but go get our finance team. You want more of this? Go get this.
Does it change your relationship to risk when you have Amazon in the background as your bluntly owner and parent?
Which is why the constraints thing, you have to figure out ways to still create those constraints. And I think my internal furnace, and this is what's interesting. People always say like money doesn't matter. I think any entrepreneur will say, oh, money doesn't matter. I just want to build this company. Like, bullshit. But once I sold, I did realize like money didn't matter to me in the sense of driving Ring. Like I'm still like, hey, you can ask people here. Like I still get just as emotional on calls when we screw something up because I'm angry about what we're doing for, we call our customers neighbors. Like I'm angry what we're not supplying to our neighbors. I'm angry at like, and so it's not money was a good part of this, but I still have that that drive, and I think that's the difference. Is like who still has that drive, like who really cares. Like if you care about that mission, it doesn't matter. And so yes, money was great because now we're not going to go out of business tomorrow, but that doesn't make it easier to build a great product.